Today's video, I'm going to be giving you all a full guide on shoulder mode in PUBG New State, including controls, sensitivities, and the best settings for any number of fingers. Whether you play with 2 fingers, 3 fingers, 4 fingers, or even with your toes. So you might be asking, well, what is shoulder mode? Well, it's the ability to scope in and stay in third person. You might also be asking, well, why would you ever need this in the first place? Well, shoulder mode really shines at close range. This is because sometimes an enemy is close, but still too far away to just hip fire. So instead of scoping in and narrowing your vision, you can just shoulder in and still be able to see much of your surroundings, while also being able to hit your enemies. In addition, you move a lot faster in shoulder mode than while you are ADS. And especially at close range, where movement can change the tide of a battle, shoulder mode is insanely good to use. Now, there are a couple of ways we can enable this feature. First off, if we go to controls, then scroll down to scope and shoulder mode, we have the ability to either combine our ADS and shoulder mode buttons or have separate buttons. If we combine our buttons, the shoulder mode button will disappear and become part of the ADS button. If you tap and release the ADS button, you will scope in. Now, if you hold down on the ADS button, you will shoulder in. This is really good if you play with 2 or 3 fingers, and if you use 4 fingers or more, then it's your choice. We also have the ability to create separate buttons, and this creates a separate button for ADS and a separate button for shoulder mode. As a 4-finger player, I choose separate buttons because this way I can quickly tap either ADS or shoulder in, and after tapping one of those buttons, I can quickly use my finger for something else, like crouching or even rolling. If you have more fingers to use, then this is the better option. So after picking one of these options, you're going to need to think about how you're going to activate shoulder mode. If you choose to combine your buttons, then this won't matter much to you. However, if you choose to have separate buttons, then this part is really important, so pay attention. For the shoulder button, we have 4 options: none, tap, long press, and combine tap and long press. If we choose none, our shoulder button will completely disappear and we won't be able to use shoulder mode. Now, if we select tap, you'll have to tap the shoulder mode button to shoulder in and tap it again to shoulder out. Now, if we select long press, you have to hold down on the shoulder button to shoulder in, and as soon as you let go, you will shoulder out. This is really good for people who play with less fingers, because now you can hold down on the shoulder mode button and swipe your screen to aim without letting go of your finger and moving it somewhere else to aim. And you can select combine tap and long press. Now with this, you can tap and let go quickly to enter tap mode. You will still be in shoulder mode when you let go. However, if you tap and hold the shoulder mode button, you will enter long press mode, meaning when you let go, you will immediately shoulder out. There is one more control setting for scope and shoulder mode, and this part is actually really important. And this really important setting is drag control. And this setting applies for your scope, your peeking, and your shoulder mode. So for example, if you disable it on shoulder mode, what happens is if I hold down on shoulder mode and swipe my finger, nothing happens. I won't be able to look around. However, if we enable it, I can hold down on the shoulder mode button and swipe my finger and I can still aim. If you play with less fingers, then definitely enable this option because you can hold down the shoulder mode button and start swiping your screen to aim. But if you have a different finger to aim and a different finger to tap your shoulder button, then you don't need this. Now I'm going to give you the best shoulder settings for any amount of fingers. If you use 2 or 3 fingers, then you have 2 options. Option 1, select combine buttons. Move your ADS button to the right side of your screen and enable the drag controls for both the scope mode and shoulder button. This way you have one button and you can tap ADS and let go and swipe your thumb to look around, or you can hold down on that ADS button and swipe your thumb and aim around. Option 2, start off by selecting separate buttons, put both your ADS and shoulder mode button on the right side of your screen, select long press for both the shoulder and scope mode buttons, and enable drag controls for both buttons. This way you can choose whether you want to ADS or shoulder mode, and you can just hold down on either button and swipe your thumb to look around. And for 4-finger players or more, I would select separate buttons, put both your ADS button and your shoulder mode button relatively in the same area and use the same finger to access them. I use my left index finger, select tap mode for both buttons, and disable drag controls for both buttons. This way you can use a dedicated aiming finger and a different finger to ADS and shoulder in. I use my left index finger, and now I can use that finger to do other actions. And the last part of the shoulder guide is how to adjust your sensitivity. We can scroll down a bit to camera and scope sensitivity. On the left, we have Tpp Shoulder Camera, and this is the sensitivity when you are in third person and shoulder mode swiping on your screen. Over to the right, we have Fpp Shoulder Camera, and this is when we are in first person shoulder mode swiping with our thumb. Scroll down a bit and we have our gyroscope settings, and if you don't know what this is, you should definitely check out this other video that explains every setting in PUBG New State. Anyways, over to the left we have Tpp Shoulder Camera, which is third person shoulder mode, but the sensitivity when we are tilting our device. And over to the right, Fpp Shoulder Camera. This is when we are in first person and shoulder mode, and the sensitivity when we tilt our device. If this video was helpful, smash like and subscribe, and if it wasn't, smash dislike. Oh wait, YouTube removed dislikes.